Hello and welcome again, candidates, to the lesson. The chapter is talent management. We're continuing with a series of lessons in the subject boardroom dynamics. In our today's session, we are going to pick yet another subtopic, introduction of board members. Introduction of board members. Introduction of board members refers to the board orientation. And an effective board orientation requires the involvement of 1, the board chair, number 2, the chief executive, number 3, the governance committee, and the possible key board and staff members. When introducing a new board member, I'm saying that it is important that the board chair is involved, the chief executive is involved, the governance committee is involved, and if possible, all the members of the board. And candidates, they may not all be involved at the same time, since they have different roles and responsibilities. But it will be important for a new board member to understand how each contributes to work of the board. And it is important for the board member to understand the organization of the board. But all in all, board orientation should be facilitated by the board chair. And why is that important? It's important, candidates, for the board chair to facilitate board orientation because it is the chair who is a person responsible for guiding the work of the board. The chief executive and the senior staff may be may sometimes lead the orientation of the board and in other areas to do with finances, okay? But the introduction of a board member has to be facilitated by the chair of the board because it is the chair of the board that guides the work of the board. And candidates, the introduction process should aim at achieving 3 main things. 3 main things. 3 main things. The first thing is building an understanding of the nature of the company. Building an understanding of the nature of the company. The new member who is being introduced should be made to understand the nature of the company. Building an understanding of the nature of the company, its business, and the markets in which it operates. Its business and the markets in which it operates. That is one main thing that the orientation process seeks to achieve. Orientation process seeks to achieve 1, building an understanding of the nature of the company. Because remember, it is the new director who is being introduced here. When a new director is being introduced or a board member, the purpose is to help the board member to understand the nature of the company, the business of the company, and the markets in which the company operates. The second thing that introduction of a board member seeks to achieve is the link with the company's people. Link to build, link with company's people. When introducing a new member, that new member should be helped to understand the link or to build. There has to be a link that has to be built between that director and the company's people, like the chief executive, the other members of the board, the top management team. The new director has to be linked to these important people of the company. The third thing that the orientation process seeks to achieve is to build an understanding of the company's main relationships. Understanding of the company's main relationships. Build an understanding of the company's main relationships. Like if a company is a group, there could be associates, subsidiaries, related parties, and so on. So these are three main things that introduction of a board member seeks to achieve. Number one, to build an understanding of the nature of the company, its business, and the markets in which it operates. Number two, to build link with company's people. Number three, to build an understanding of the company's main relationships. Main things. That's not all, candidates. We are going to discuss more other things that the introduction process seeks to achieve. These are the main ones. The process, we can also say, helps the company to understand the role of a director. Introduction process, orientation process, helps the director to understand his or her role. Before beginning a task, is important that you understand. It's important that you understand. So introduction process helps or provides an understanding of the role. Let me write it down. The orientation process, I said, does what? Helps the new board member to understand his role, provides an understanding, or helps. Let me use the word helps, provides an understanding of a role of a director. The role of a director. Two, orientation process, we can say, helps understand the framework within which the board operates. Understand framework within which the board operates. Orientation provides understanding of the framework within which the board operates. The new director should understand the framework within which the board operates because he is one of the board members. For example, the board member should learn the structure and processes of the board, e.g., structure and processes of the board what is the structure of the board? Who is the board chairman? Who is the deputy? What are the committees? Are there board committees? Who sits on the committees? What are the board committees? And so on. So the framework within which the board operates, things like the structure and what are the process of the board, so that the director can help provide oversight, effective oversight. All right? Framework within which the board operates. The structure. The structure. Learn the structure and the processes the board that uses to provide effective oversight, like the corporation's corporate governance principles, the guidelines, the committee charters, the routine operations of the board, its committees, the methods employed for monitoring, the methods employed for evaluation, the committee performances, the procedures or the procedures for senior executives, officer appointments, the evaluation of succession planning, and so on. That's the framework within which the board operates. So the orientation process provides understanding of the role of the director, the framework within which the board operates. Let's continue. C. Review, audit committee membership and procedures. While introducing the new board member, that member should review the audit committee membership and procedures and meet with the audit committee chair so as to discuss any recent or current critical financial as well as accounting issues, the clarity of transparency of public disclosures respecting the corporation's financial affairs, and the effectiveness of the corporation's programs to address legal compliance issues and risks. It is important that a new board member reviews the audit committee membership. The new member should know who sits on that committee. What are the procedures that guide the committee? And in the process of reviewing the audit committee membership, the new member should also meet the chair, the committee chair. And why is that meeting important? That meeting is important so that the new member can discuss any recent or current critical financial or accounting issues. The new member should also understand transparency of public disclosures in respect to the company's financial affairs, not forgetting the effectiveness of the company's programs to address legal compliance issues and risks. Audit committee membership and procedures. Number 4 is to review the recent examples of the meeting or meetings that have been provided to directors in advance. Review, let me just say minutes of recent meetings. The new director should review the minutes of recent meetings. Another area that a new director should review is the internal and external legal and financial advisors. When introducing a new member, it's important that the new member is informed of, or the chair of the board makes it known to the new member the internal, the regular internal, external, and external. The internal and the external legal and financial advisors. Legal and financial advisors. These are the advisors of the company. He needs to get the contacts of the internal and external legal and financial advisors. These are professionals who advise the board members on legal and financial matters. They offer services to the board, and given that he's one of the members of the board, he needs to have to know the identity of the company's internal and external legal and financial advisor, and also to learn their role and participation in the board activities. It's important that he understands what is the role of these external and internal financial and the legal advisors as far as the board activities is concerned. Okay? Then we have number 5. The new director should also receive what we call a briefing. Briefing on significant litigation claims. The new director has a right to receive briefing on significant claims or litigation against the company. Against the company. Against the company. And this is especially any that involves the activities of the board of directors, or involve any entity with which the prospective director is already affiliated. So he should receive briefing on significant claims or litigations at the introduction stage, at the orientation stage. Okay? Then the director should also be made to understand the compensation, what do you call it? The compensation arrangements. Let me say compensation arrangement. He should understand director compensation arrangements. It should be made to understand the director compensation arrangements and also determine whether they are commensurate with the effort that is required and the risks undertaken. When introducing a board member, candidates, lastly, I'm saying here, is important that the director understands the compensation arrangements. How is he going to be paid? And is that payment commensurate with the effort that you will be providing on the board or not? Is it commensurate with the risk that is likely to undertake in the process of carrying out his responsibilities on the board? So these are some of the areas that a new board member needs to be introduced to. In this lesson, candidates, we have achieved 2 things. We've explained what the orientation process that seeks to achieve. We said that an orientation process seeks to build an understanding of the company. The purpose for introducing a board member or orienting a board member is so that the board member can understand the nature of the company, its business, and the markets in which it operates. Number two, an orientation process seeks to build links, the director's links with the company's people. Then number three, orientation process seeks to help the new director understand the company and its main relationships. Then we have outlined points here to indicate the kind of understanding that is required of a new member before embarking on his or her duties as a board member. One, a new board member should understand the role of a director. Number two, should understand the framework within which the board operates. That includes the structure, the processes of the board, and so on. We also say that the board member should review audit committee membership and procedures. This new board member should also meet the chair of the audit committee so that they can discuss if there is any recent or current critical financial or accounting issues. The purpose of the meeting should also help to clarify or to seek transparency of, say, public disclosures in respect of the company's financial affairs and the effectiveness of the company's programs to address legal compliance issues and risks. Number four is reviewing minutes of recent meetings that could be important, that may need the attention of the new member, that are relevant to the discharge of his or her duties. We've also discussed the internal and external legal, and it should also meet the internal and external legal and financial advisors of the company. These are the regular internal and external legal and financial advisors, and they should be able to learn their role, should be able to understand their participation in the board's activities. These are professionals who provide advice to the board members. And now that he's a board member, he's entitled to such advice. So he needs to be introduced to these professional advisors. Then we also say that a new board member should receive briefing on significant claims and litigations against the company. And this is especially if any of the claims involve the activities of board of directors. He should have that information. Then lastly is in relation to his compensation. Given that he's coming in as a new person, he should understand director compensation arrangements. How are directors compensated in this company? So that he can determine whether the kind of effort that is expected of him is commensurate with the package or the compensation he receives from the company. And that will mark the end of our today's lesson. Thank you for attending. I hope to meet you in our next session where we continue to study this important area, talent management. We've just done introduction of board members. Thank you. God bless you. Bye-bye.